Howdy mates, how are we doing? Good afternoon. Here's my second video for Sunday, June 12th, 2022. Today, we actually made our way out into the Gulf. Just because, you know, with it being Sunday and all, and my day off work, well, kinda sorta, I wanted to pay a beach a visit. You know, especially since we had some major storms come by yesterday, so I wanted to see how riled up the ocean was. As you can see, it actually is a little bit. The waves today are breaking quite strongly, as you can see. So specifically, this is over at Blind Pass Beach. Now, in terms of why it's called Blind Pass, I'm not entirely sure. I would say it is called Blind Pass because there's probably a pass that connects between the bay and the Gulf, but you can't really see it. Hence, why it may be called Blind Pass. Who knows? Needless to say, it is a rather breezy one. Winds coming from west, northwest, approximately. So, a good rule of thumb, you know, especially when it comes to wind, is anything. So if you hear wind passing through your ears, that's when you know wind is actually above 15 miles per hour. That's how you know. So if you don't hear any wind passing through your ears, that means you hardly have any wind at all, or it's very, very low. So my guess is it's probably about 20, 25 miles an hour. Maybe. I could be wrong. But you can see there's some people surfing out here. Rarely do you see the Gulf ideal for surfing conditions, because of course, the Gulf is always known to be more of the calmer beach, you know, in terms of waves. So that's why, honestly, getting to the Atlantic side of Florida has been a goal for a while. I haven't been on that side of Florida in a long time, several years. But, you know, since we had our storms recently, when I was in the water just a little bit ago, there was a lot of seaweed that came up to shore. And that's just because whenever you have storms happening, there's a lot of mixing and turbulence and whatnot. So that really causes everything that was once, you know, hardly moving to then be moving rapidly. Yeah. So, a little bit of beach anatomy. So basically, like where I'm standing right now is essentially the dunes. So basically, you know, since this has moved further away from the water, it has given a chance for more plants to establish. You know, for instance, like right here, we have something called a railroad vine. It's so named because it has the capability of stretching for a particularly long distance. And usually when it's in bloom, it produces either a white or a purplish pink flower. So they're actually quite appealing to look at. Of course, you have your cabbage palm, which is basically the designated state palm of Florida. Even though palms aren't really trees, which if you watch any of my other videos, I actually help explain why palms are not trees. They're actually monocots. They're actually more closely related to grasses than actual trees. But I've already made a video dedicated to that discussion in depth. But yeah. So yeah, we're basically at the dune. So then just where that sea turtle nest is, that's basically your back shore. So that's like just before you get to the dunes. So basically the back shore is the last known area at the beach where water can reach. But you have to have a pretty strong tide for that to happen. So then you go a little closer where basically the water meets with the land. That is actually called a swash zone. And fascinating enough, a swash zone is not considered to be either the ocean or land, just because it constantly varies. Quite fascinating to think about. It's kind of like middle ground, no man's land, pun intended. But usually it's the swash zone where you will find the most life on the beach. So typically that's where you'll find your marine worms, crustaceans, and even among other marine organisms, even in the form of mollusks. And usually it's the swash zone that is the most risky place to live, just because water is constantly providing activity. So basically, yeah, when water comes up, that's called wash, and once it goes back out, that's called backwash. So then, go out a little further, you can see where the waves are breaking. There's actually a sandbar out there, or as I should say it, a sandbar. So, you know, the sandbar actually makes the depth much shallower. And so those waves, they essentially slow down. So once they're like having to slow down really quickly, that's where the water tends to surge and rise. So that's why really you get waves that happen. So basically where the waves break, that is known as your near shore. And then just before you have the wave break, that is your foreshore. Or actually, I think it's the other way around. Pardon me. But yeah, you guys, wonderful day to be out here. Literally been outside all day. So, you know, with it being summer, even in the southern states and even up north, spend as much time outside as you can. Because you know me. Those of you who have actually met me, I can only stay inside for so long. There's so much out there that is worthy of seeing. Very grateful to have the opportunity to do so. Alright, you guys, enjoy your Sunday and the rest of your weekend. And learning on a journey is outwards. Take care, folks. See ya.